birthday. We'll see if he gets a birthday visit from a champion that he played in the past. He's already played the Nidalee this season in the Lee Sin, but the Lee Sin was a loss, so maybe Lee Sin time for Peanut. Now, blue side bans are very interesting against Kongdoo. What we saw from Jin Air on blue and red side was Galio, Zac, and J4. Zac and J4, the only two champions Raze has won on, both of them engaged champions. And you see, the first two bans here from Kingzone will be Jarvan and Zac. Teams have identified that Raze having the ability to gank and also initiate is a core tenet of a Kongdoo Monster victory in 2018. So denying him off that comfort has been very important. The Kha'Zix wasn't that convincing, you'd have to say. Lost in the Rengar matchup last time out. So we will still see it here, though. Kha'Zix is going to be taken away from Raze. It's a very heavy jungle focus. 5 jungle bans means a lot is open. Zoe might be picked up by Kongdoo Monster on the red side. Azir also available. All 80 carries available.
Yep.
We'll see what Kingzone prizes, and interestingly, it will be the legendary Prey Ezreal, but not the Kalista that both of these 80 carries have also been playing.
Yep, so Sol going to get his pick of the litter here, so will be the Kalista. So our two must-ban, must-pick ADCs do get locked up there in the first rotation. And
Ray
right
says,
off the bat,
if I can't initiate, damned if my bot lane won't be able to. Kalista, Alistar, hard initiate. This means that Galio has not been banned or picked first in the first round by either team for the first time in recent memory. A BDD
there
special, you're locking in for the first time this season, means you can go ultra aggressive with your jungle pick, and that's probably going to be a jungle Camille, I would imagine, but flex pick Camille likely to come out here.
I mean, whether it's in the hands of Khan or Peanut would be impressive. Now flashing the Zoe.
Bit of mind games there.
Yeah, it's kind of messing around. But seems like Camille's going to be the lock-in here unless they flip at the last second. Rengar instead.
And that makes sense with the Galio. We said the Kha'Zix, the innate synergy. The Rengar doesn't have AoE initiation. But when you have the Galio, he can become that fearsome initiation duo. And as an answer to the Galio, one of the best farm lanes, ones that we've seen played successfully, BDD against Faker, is the Azir. So it's going to be Edge jumping on one of his comfort picks, so far undefeated on the season. We'll see the Camille banned as well. So when it comes to Kongdoo Monster, they're looking for top lane and jungle in the next round, and providing as much coverage for Roach, who has had his moments, but certainly when you're against Khan, definitely don't want to be in a counter matchup. Last picking on red side, just give your support a chance is probably the way you want to go when you're facing Kingzone DragonX.
But still taking away junglers here as the Jax gets banned out by Kingzone. See what the final two are going to be.
We're running short.
There's really not that many left. We're going to go back into Rek'Sai territory here, perhaps.
Still on patch 8.1 in case you guys are wondering, guys, so no changes there. And Raze is expected to have that more narrow champion pool, so given that he only was a recent convert to the jungle role. Also want to draw your attention to Khan's champion pool. He's actually not played a champion twice yet. A win on Riven Camille, GP Jace, Fiora, and Nar so far this season. The Vladimir would have been a new one for him, but banned away. But we finally see a repeat visit in the Shyvana that also Raze played. Will be banned away, so at some point it's Skarner time, but you mentioned the Rek'Sai. Feels like those two are the ones you would consider here.
Or maybe the Lee Sin.
On his birthday, taking against him?
That would be
madness.
Yeah, but actually it's going to be Gragas. Something that people have asked us about recently actually was this Gragas and why we haven't seen it as much.
A really big pick in the NA LCS still at the moment, but not being preferred here in the 2018 season. If you're asking for a reason why there's been no priority on it, I think it's kind of hard to say. There's definitely scenarios where the knockback, especially double knockback here, can be very valuable to try to snuff any sort of wombo engage with the Galio. So nice to see a visit to it. Something, again, that's really popular outside of Korea, but no priority. First game of Gragas so far in the 2018 season. Gorilla's deciding no fun allowed. He's going to have his 5th game on Braum, so far 4-0. And now we're looking for that blind pick top laner from Khan. Will it be a one-off, or will he return to something like the Gnar, which is available?
He wants to go blind pick, something like the Jace here. Does make a heck of a lot of sense. Pick that made him famous, and they will go ahead and lock it in.
Now, Roach has been playing Riven in solo queues, so this is the point where either he has the trust of his team or he doesn't. It's a skill matchup. Definitely the Jace is going to be very, very comfortable. You could also go to this pick that's been hovered a couple of times in recent memory.
Okay, Malphite perhaps. I mean, this would be a lot of wombo engage here for Kongdoo if they want to go to it. But
okay. Let's go ultra standard and lose the minimum on the Ornn, but when it comes to the ability to push and roam, oh boy, do Kingzone have a lot of options here on the top side of the map. A Farmfest in bot lane from the Kingzone perspective, and then Wombos everywhere with Galio and Rengar trying to profit off the lane control that Khan has in top side. If you're Kongdoo, and you're Raze in particular, you say, a kingdom for some red side control, because we're going to see on the blue side, okay, Khan push up on the Jace and then contest the enemy red side jungle. And with Galio and Rengar invading, problem times for Kongdoo Monster. Very good team fight and initiation from Kongdoo Monster, though. The Galio can do all the initiating you need on the blue side here. But another tempo draft from Kingzone. I think they really are focused on the 35-minute wins. They are the shortest average game time we have in Korea, trying to power past teams in the early game. Kongdoo have a lot of options, but getting to those options, tricky.
So now it's time to find out, Papa Smithy. Does the team with the shortest game time get countered by my curse? Do we go to 3 games, or we still have a 2-0, and do they just go on forever?
Hey, those 3 game sets with the second one. So KSV, maybe they'll have to worry about being spooked there. We also get the answer to the question I posed, dragons or monsters? Who is stronger? My first thought is certainly dragon.
I think it's going to be a dragon, perhaps, but maybe the monster can put up a good fight, and we'll have a nice show of it. That's about what we could hope for here. Unless we're going to have some really big surprises out of the side of Kongdoo Monster in the way that they tackle this game. Let's see if they can pull it off, or let's see if Kingzone is just going to go ahead and shut them down rather quickly as we load in for game number 1.
Rush for the invade here on the top side. Jay's running in, trying to get information about that red side start. Theory behind that is they want Kongdoo to start blue side and then Rengar to start invading at his red buff. So Raze would do well to take his top buff, otherwise he might have to deal with some of those buffless days like we remember Flawless struggling with. And yep, here comes the invade again. So they want to try to force Kongdoo to start bot side and then start invading. Is the plan coming through?
I like that Secret is a rabbit for some reason in that drawing.
Hey, I never told you my Kongdoo Monster secret, Achilles. So
he's actually a rabbit?
I'm gonna hold on to it.
Secret.
I'll leave it to your imagination.
He's the Easter Bunny. Confirmed.
It's a possible secret. But mine's spicy too, Achilles. So, yep, trying to force the bot side start here. We've seen this from a couple of other teams, but Smart, again, given the win condition here, that I imagine a Kingzone pigeonholed on is testing the red side jungle. And if you're joining us late, it is Peanut's birthday today, so first birthday game on the Rengar, turned 20 today. Western H.
I liked the lipstick they had on that sign for him. Makes his lips pop, you know. Well, Peanut just going to be starting things off. Gets the leash there at the red buff. Be working his way around. Raze doing that mirror jungle, operating up towards the top side now.
He's going to go big camps and hope that he gets his red as fast as possible.
Ward is still thrown down, so he'll get spotted at it.
It's all about that mind game of what Kingzone want to do. Galio, Rengar, and Jace so likely to control the top side. Ezreal Braum, a very safe duo, just play defensively bot side. But this is information that Kongdoo Monster doesn't need explained. They will already know about all of that. So how they play around the obvious windows of power here for Kingzone remains to be seen. Khan is certainly a key player. That's just the generic thing we have on all of them, but
first
Khan
place
in particular. He
KDM
does the most damage and takes the least damage. That's, you know, he's doing all right.
It's just about what you want in your in any player, in any position. So he is just the best in his role at the moment. Seems good.
I only have nice things to say about Khan, except for when he doesn't play. I guess the coaching staff probably deserves the true criticism there.
Well, Prey now taking quite a bit of damage. So not in range for the Rend, however.
Bot lane still on patch 8.1. Sadly, the Relic Shields are not gone.
Yep.
Waiting for those. I thought that would affect game time positively. Watching the EULCS very early Korean Standard Time in the morning, there was still some very long games, so perhaps not all plans are gone. We see Peanut looping around, but also Raze.
Yeah, he's coming in right from behind him. Hasn't been spotted yet. Now we'll see him. Gonna jump in, look for the headbutt pulverize. Oh, but Secret botches it. We'll get a couple hits in the meantime, just to trade back some damage. And, well, They had the perfect gank setup, and then it all got ruined.
And Secret's Alistar is his best performing champion by far. Always been a strong Alistar play, 4-1, but very costly time, and he does waste his flash as well. I don't think that's going to be enough to draw Peanut bot side, who we know Prey and Gorilla always have that reputation of never taking ganks. Is Peanut going to at least start harassing out Roach? Lane ward down as well.
It's a lockdown on him. Roach just retreating over towards the tier 2.
Base damages from Roach aren't bad, so can't just chase him down and kill him like we saw Haru do a couple of times last year.
And Khan not really in a position with the wave. Tried to push it forward and join Peanut there with the gank, so won't even be getting a summoner spell out of the Ornn. So he'll be fine.
Inch together towards his Glacial Shroud and holds on for dear life. That's what you're going to be doing if you're Roach. Also has Ignite to turn a turret dive because of the unsealed spellbook. Getting to look at a couple of the keystones here. We had one unsealed spellbook, Kalista, earlier. So we're going to see the roam down from Galio.
They hit it that time, but Prey jumps away, tries to trade some damage back here on the
Secret
Secret as Gorilla also goes low. BDD now joining in as Gorilla almost dies, but the heal will come through to help keep him alive. Secret nowhere left to go. They'll just get finished off here slowly and surely, but there we go. A bit of an extended one, but Prey comes away with the first blood.
Yeah, that was good lane control by Kingzone. Smart roam timing from BDD as well. Pre-level 6, didn't even have the ping from the enemy mid laner that his ult was available. Roams down. The reason why it took so long is that BDD said, I at least want an assist. Come on, guys. I walked all the way down here. Gets the assist. Kill goes over to Prey. Accelerates the build. Happy times and very ordered play from Kingzone. Again, reminiscent of Longzhu and Summer. You could always look at a Longzhu comp and say, this team knows their win conditions. There's usually something very clear they want to do in the early game, and more often than not, they'd be able to pull it off. See if they're able to do that again here, because so far so good. And that red side jungle, control's still there for Raze, but the time that we're going to see Kingzone just dogpile in there and try to kill him is soon.
I believe that was supposed to say that this was the first time we've seen Gragas in 2018 spring, not that there was over 300-something games of Gragas in 2018 spring.
Yeah, and then just trying to say the lifetime numbers.
So a little over 50%.
Yeah, the subtitle of the season is beginning of the end, and so OGN have been showing a lot of historical stats from all the way back in 2012 to current. So we get a lot of cool numbers on 320 Gragas jungle games. Shouldn't be any surprise. Was the corner of it was basically the meta for 2 years there. So I was going to walk down. Lethal tempo again, just to confirm, on the Kalista. Other than that, Electrocute also on BDD. We've seen a couple of different ideas about what to run on the Galio. The Electrocute is becoming more and more popular than the unsealed spellbook.
My question, I mean, we have the interaction here with BDD. Can use the hero's entrance off the back of the ulting Rengar, so he's invisible. Do we have to call that a nuclear sub because it's a larger entrance than Shen?
It's interesting. We could. I
feel like calling it just a regular submarine isn't doing it justice.
Wish there was the word nuclear somewhere in the skill sets, then it would make more sense, but I like it. We can consider it. Why don't you just shout it out and see if it sticks,
All right, we'll see.
True caster style.
We'll see how it goes. If we see it.
It
might not be necessary.
We're definitely going to see it. Rengar's definitely getting in there at some point. Looking toward Warrior Enchant. Expect to see Gragas go very tanky, very standard Cinderhulk kind of jungler. Not too different from a Jarvan build.
Backs there from the top laners. Roach going to swap out for the TP. Seems like we might just be seeing a Frozen Heart coming through yet again, as it is becoming more and more stable.
Yeah, in a ranged matchup, you're not getting any Iceborne Gauntlet procs off, so you're just hanging on for dear life. Makes a lot of sense there. Here's the invasion to the red side we talked about. First rotation from the Jace. This is where Raze, again, not that many jungle games, 15 to 20 games in his career, needs to understand that the top red side jungle is not his at all.
Look at this beautiful pathing from both Khan and Peanut.
At least Raze, he knows his camps are up, but he's not going anywhere near his red side jungle. And good to see him invade. This is actually good jungle sense from Raze. I like to see this. He's making the right move. For now, there's not a red buff for him to take because of the desync timers, but as long as you're getting the maximum with the comp they've drafted, and Raze, he's going to get Raptors and nothing more. That's all that's available when you're against a team that's this strong on the top side.
Just hovering around. Cloud Drake there, so not going to be paid too much attention, as we're just 8 minutes into this game, so probably going to see that one standing for maybe even another 10 minutes or so before somebody decides to take it. For now, just going to get that handoff on the blue buff over for BDD, so we can keep throwing out gusts of wind, clearing the back line. Exciting stuff with Galio in the Rift.
Very interactive champion.
Yep.
We'll see what his first item is. Will it be the defensive choice in the Abyssal Mask or Rod of Ages that we do see a couple members putting out? How much AP you buy on Galio has definitely not been consensus yet. Some people go heavy into AP, like Lava with his Protobelt build. Other people are a little bit more shallow and a bit more defensive, so Merc Tread's first purchase. Probably not going to be Rod of Ages, but we'll wait and see. His team has a lot of damage already, because Rengar is a carry jungler. Going to go for the Warrior route. Probably going to be Warrior Black Cleaver or Warrior Youmuu's. Warrior Duskblade, very, very aggressive build there. For now, at least, turret pretty healthy for Roach, who's able to proxy the minion wave, or at least hold the minion wave in front of the turret with his W and wave clear at the same time, so he doesn't take a lot of chip damage. Clearing the wave, so for now at least, the only impact on the map is the control over the red side jungle, waiting for this game to burst into life, but for now, it's in second gear.
I mean, you can see Khan just furiously roaming down. Knows that they have complete control over this side. Pretty well lit up as well, so just going to take all the small raptors. He can move back up and just keep pushing the wave straight in underneath the turret. Roach has been managing to hold on quite well as far as the CS is concerned.
Pings on to Rengar as he enters on the bot side, so the deep warding that Raze did, paying off. He has dominations, almost certainly zombie wards, and if Peanut is only very periodically entering his bot side jungle, it's unlikely to pass through some of those entrances, and thus the vision will be very long-standing. It's also patch 8.1, so the duration hasn't been nerfed. As here we go, 2 levels up is Peanut.
Yeah, and Raze is just going to get melted down, gets him with the bola. Trying to close the distance, has the bush, will jump in, forces out the flash.
The cask there, because of the slower animation since it was nerfed a while ago, would probably have sent something that Peanut would have flashed and actually gotten closer to the Gragas. If you flash aggressively there, there's no way for Gragas to get out. Now you see the team-wide approach. Khan also invading Raze. Raze, oh boy, not having a fun time.
Well, after exerting that pressure, seems like Kingzone saying, you know what, let's go ahead and pick up that dragon for free. There's no way that Raze is going to be able to push back in on us. So we'll just go ahead and take that one out. We'll have a Mountain Drake on the way.
When you're against a draft like this, the fact that it wasn't Infernal or Mountain first is happy news for Kongdoo Monster. They need 2 items onto their Kalista. 1 big item on Azir, and Kalista at least a Zeal into a second item. There's a fight they win, but actually baiting out the hero's entrance and not having a team-wide knock-up going to be required there. So executing early, quite tricky for Kongdoo Monster, and they're just trying to hang on for dear life. See, another one of the reasons that we see a little bit of Gragas here, a little bit less Gragas here, is that skirmishing as Gragas early with a meta that opens up picks like Kha'Zix and Rengar very commonly is tricky. You need your lanes to respond first. When you're against a Galio and you have a Gragas, you're not winning any skirmishes.
Oh. Nice stop there by Prey.
He's topped both their backs. Very nice.
Nice use of the Essence Flux there.
It's what it's best used for, stopping backs and getting a tier stack.
Also just, your passive stacks. That's about it. Rift Herald's going to be taken here by Peanut, as he takes a little bit of a beating, but time it out well. Gets the heal back there off the smite, and we'll go ahead and pick that one up. So likely going to be seeing our first turret go down sometime soon.
Mid would be the god tier, but might just take the easy freebie top side, put down some wards, zone the Ornn from the turret. And even with his ult wave clear, he's not going to be able to stop it.
I guess the Rift Herald would charge the sand turret as well, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming it would be
it does.
programmed
It
that
doesn't
same way.
ignore it. The only interesting interaction is that you can't Azir sand turret your Nexus turret and use that to extend the game. It's not counted as something that prevents the turret damage. We saw that, of course, in the 94-minute game as Gorilla. Oh boy. Very close to stealing away the blue. Not a lot of map control here for Kongdoo Monster, something they've done their best. And look, at the end of the day, the game is not accelerating further than Raze being respectful and giving away camps, which he needs to do with this draft. There is light again at the end of the tunnel. The problem for Kongdoo is they don't know how long the tunnel is. There might also be an avalanche coming from the tunnel if the snowball begins, and that's why we see Khan walk up. He wants to steal away a red buff.
Peanut's there to back him up. And they'll just take everything yet again.
It's what happens when you draft and you have the ability for players to go so aggressive. As a blue side blind pick, there's few champions they're this strong, blind pickable, then Jace. Jace available for Khan. Invites this sort of play for Kingzone. Is okay.
Fisher coming down here, looking for Raze. Nice boop away there as BDD was using the charge up, but that's going to leap in. They get him low, go for it. Big pulverize from Secret, but it's not going to be enough to keep the Gragas alive. He goes down now. Secret probably going to pay for this one with his life. Another charge in, has the blast cone, gets back in underneath the turret, and the Fate's Call will in fact drag him out to safety, but now Soul is going to be surrounded, and that's going to force out the TP from the top lane. And Roach will actually complete that one.
Yeah, he did actually push in a minion wave. Secret was so fortunate. The blast cone actually respawned as he was running away for him to flash on and then blast cone out of. That was, I'm sure, very tilting for Kingzone. BD's history on the Galio. Galio Oriana was kind of his champion pool for the majority of summer. All he had to do was wave clear.
Oh, well, here we go.
And he's turret bot side. There you go. So just want to end the laning phase here. 2 items already on Ezreal, so perfect timing to end the laning phase. Already power in their other lanes. No hero's entrance yet. Because he left lane, predictably, Jace getting that turret pretty low.
Yep, and they want to keep pushing this one through. You can see he's a true shot barrage straight in onto the next wave, so he can clear that out and get a nice little charge in from that Rift Herald. We'll see how low it can take the next turret.
We showed these stats pre-game, but when they get the first turret, Kingzone pretty good at finishing games. Same thing when it comes to last season. BD's KDA on the Galio, always one of the insane things. Almost never dies on this champion.
Well, it's going to be the call of the Forge God coming through. Roach looking for the knock-up, but Khan, yep, just forced out the flash. He will stay alive.
Yeah, first proactive play that Ray's able to make, but he needs to actually cement these plays. Not easy to do when flashes are up, but you look at just the jungle camp lead here for the Rengar. Currently, he is 46 CS ahead, which represents about 11.5 camps that have been denied away. And it's been a team denial. There's also camps that were taken away by Khan, remember. So this is certainly just a destroying of the Gragas jungle, and maybe we won't see so much Gragas. Again, it's a lot about the Jace here and the Galio. This is just everything coming together draft-wise to make the Gragas jungle, or any farming jungler's day, a misery. If Zac was in this game, it would have been the same. If it was Sejuani, maybe not to the same extent, but similar. So tank junglers against teams like this have no fun.
Gorilla fearlessly just charging through, trying to deny more.
You know that he was definitely checking his smite damage, being like, yep, okay, I'll get this one. Kingzone keep inching forward, keep controlling the map. Ornn able to buy a flash, at least release some pressure top side. But bot side, after the Rift Herald went down, they continue to push, and only 1 item on Soul means his wave clear isn't massive.
Not great at the moment. Once that Hurricane clear those out very rapidly. But that is going to be pretty far away for good old Soul.
Waiting to see if Raze finds a new part of the map. It's the part towards the top right side that he hasn't been able to visit. It's like he was playing Super Mario Brothers and there was some sort of block in the road. He wasn't able to go that part of the island. One day Gragas will get there.
Will he?
I mean, eventually. He's got a control wall there. Look, he's walking. Oh, will he go further? No, he stops in the brush. He's too scared. Doesn't know what's happening in that foreign land.
Mom always told me, don't go further than the Raptor Pit. There's danger in those woods.
Hey, the LCK is around long enough. Maybe we'll have adages like that in the collective consciousness.
Well, another Drake going over to Kingzone as they just continue to control everything on the map.
And another mountain means that around the 23-minute mark, those wards continue to stick in the top red side jungle. Baron threat going to be pretty immense. His soul is going to be tilted by that one.
Frey's such a jerk. Oh, dear.
Not stealing away buffs like Deft, but stopping back still pretty valuable.
Well, so far on pace for a perfect game is Kingzone. Perhaps we'll see it closed out. Peanut just clearing out some vision. Raze is threatening the body slam.
A lot of damage onto Edge as well, so we're definitely not going to ice the game just yet. No criticism for how Kingzone has played, and Kongdoo Monster are doing their darndest not to fall massively behind. Difficult to do against a team playing a comfort comp like we see from Kingzone. And credit to Roach, who may be down 30 CS, but still has his turret at 18 minutes in the game.
Yeah, holding on quite nicely. He's going to be in a pretty good spot.
There's Raze. He's got some Krugs. Good news story for him.
Oh, my God. And maybe a red buff as it's spawning now.
It's the simple things.
He's never experienced this before. This is amazing.
Shops have come through. We wondered about how much AP, and Leandri's second or third item has become common, so...
Oh!
See a Haunting Guys on Galio.
I think you might have just rage quit out of the game if Prey managed to steal away that red buff.
I mean, there's not much of a worse feeling than your buffs being stolen away when you've done all the hard work. It's like someone else taking your paycheck. You know, you've done all the work.
Yeah. I saw that from Deft
Yeah.
just the other day. And plenty of that going on.
Kingzone finally starting to ratchet up the pace of the game. Ornn's heroic defense means they're going to actually rotate. Prey and Gorilla topside. Power farming still for the Rengar, who is maintaining this 50 CS lead now, so 12.5 camp lead. Duskblade already complete. Raze is basically a body slam and an ultimate, nothing else.
Secret is a flash pulverize.
I mean, he's Alistair. He's got more of an excuse.
He does have his ultimate. He's got a kit. But yeah, Raze is not in a great spot. He's only added a Ruby Crystal on top of the Tracker's Knife and the Ninja Tabi so far.
See, Azir entering top lane early. Edge is trying to rotate early and help out his team. As Raze is again finding Peanut. That's
He's
no
going to
fun.
get locked down. BDD's coming around the side. Gets the taunt immediately off the back of the flash, and he will go down. Third kill here in the game. All of them in possession by Kingzone. As Khan also takes away the Gromp.
That was the first time Raze really misread the map. Earlier, just a moment earlier, Azir was walking up to try to stop a turret dive. Azir got called back to mid lane when Galio clearly wasn't going to look for a hero's entrance, and then Raze still stuck in the jungle, was taking camps, clearing wards. Heavily punished there, so mistake by Raze after such good play, and it could be punished in the biggest possible way.
I mean,
they are spotted.
It's been up for 8 seconds. They start this one up, and now it's down to about half HP. Raze just now respawning. It seems like Kingzone are going to stick to this one. Should be able to finish it off. Glacial Fish should deny them pushing forward, and the Baron will be taken.
Uh-oh.
Now looking for the fight. Edge, one hit from dead, manages to stay alive. Fate's Call, dragging Secret out of there. As Roach is quite tanky, he can back out safely, so retreats back over to that tier 1 turret here in the mid lane, but now Kingzone are going to be looking to push straight down the mid lane. Peanut jumping forward, gets the bola in onto Raze. He goes low, True Shot Barrage, also chunking him out as they finish off this turret. And seems like Kingzone might just peel back after this, but have the Baron-empowered minions. They might want to just keep the charge going.
And Kingzone always take the maximum 20-minute Baron rush down because they got a pick on the enemy jungler. First mistake from Raze. They lose the maximum in that particular situation. Prey already trucking people. Play the Ruined King soon to be complete. Only a bilge watered towards it now. And Kongdoo trying to lose the minimum have been outclassed by Kingzone taking the maximum.
Perfect timing from them. Great capitalization. And the members of Kongdoo barely getting away with their lives right off the backside of that.
A 2,600 gold disadvantage at 20 minutes from the jungle is just rotten. And remember, there's gold on Khan, bonus gold on Khan from picking up jungle camps as well, so even more gold that's just disappeared into the enemy pockets.
Peanut is just disgustingly powerful at the moment here. Another serrated Dirk in the inventory on top of the Duskblade. With the Warrior enchant, he will just melt anybody.
I mean, that's the snowballing build, right? He's going to be able to choose his targets, and Soul and Edge are both going to be exploded by this amount of lethality this early.
I mean, even Secret will take a ton of damage.
He's got a
Roach is
cloth
pretty much.
armor. He'll be fine.
It's all you need. Spend 300 gold, and then you forever counter Rengar.
If only.
I'd be wonderful. Solo queue would be a better place. BDD, though, pushing forward, gets the taunt in. On to Raze, just trying to give him as much trouble as possible. But, yeah, even with a halfway defensive build there from the Galio, he still does a ton of damage to this Gragas, who just lacks items in any way, shape, or form.
I'm guessing the defensive build has stopped. He's going to start building AP at this point. Try to burst people because they are so far ahead, and a bit more burst damage on the hero's entrance, the Winds of War, might cement this inhibitor they're clearly chasing here. A minute left on Baron.
Raze walks back into lane, immediately takes a True Shot Barrage to the face, gets knocked down about a fifth of his HP. Secret is going to get stunned up. Do they want to push in for this one?
They get the Fate's Call, so that's a lot of defensive power taken away as Jace being chased. Perfect game pace, remember.
Going to be trying to lock him down. Nice rhymes, by the way, Papa Smithy. But the flash comes through, and he gets himself out of there.
No
now they're actually going to be looking to turn this
here.
one around. Yeah, that's going to be the explosive cast coming through. Glacial Fissure thrown down by Gorilla as they chase in, trying to get on top of Roach. Actually going to be the target, going for the Gragas as he's just way squishier than that Ornn. Hasn't been able to finish him off, however, as BDD flies in with the hero's entrance, but can't quite get him yet, but will be able to take the turret. Now Prey coming over the wall. Gets a little bit more damage in onto Roach, but can't finish them off, but they get the turret, and in the meantime, Peanut is split pushing up in the top lane.
And with that item build, can you blame him? He's 2 levels above Soul. Monstrously strong is this Rengar. Doesn't mean they abandoned their hopes of taking the Mountain Drake because Peanut was topside. Very solo queue-esque play, but with the way the game is going now, it makes perfect sense that Peanut would look for the split push and so much AD very early into the game. I think he's only been involved in kills on the Gragas, so his passive Bone Tooth Necklace isn't really going just yet because only Gragas has died. He's not actually getting the sick bonuses, but if anything resembling a team fight happens, best believe he'll start rolling.
Well, Kingzone gaining control over that red side jungle yet again. Push through, just making sure they can further deny Raze, who is very close to getting a Flame Horizon here.
Definitely feels like the longest short game ever because we're 24 minutes in, but it's been that mounting dread. It's about 2 minutes in when we identified exactly how Kingzone wanted to play. Kongdoo Monster, bless their hearts, haven't made too many mistakes, but still so far behind Kingzone's pace.
It's only been 5 minutes since the Baron was taken, and I feel like it was about 15 minutes ago.
Whenever you can see Baron respawning pre-30 minutes, you're like, okay, this game escalated quickly. Mountain Drake taken down. Still perfect game pace. 25 minutes in, Achilleos.
Yep. Could see it happen. Pretty feels bad for Kongdoo Monster, who have such a stark difference in their performance from previous seasons. But versus Kingzone, nobody's safe.
And they haven't been awful by any means. You know, this has not been them making a lot of mistakes. It's been Kingzone getting the maximum out of the few mistakes they've made and just playing better and smarter through their draft. The draft is the big winner here for Kingzone. The players having the flexibility to blind pick for top lane and win, and that's what Jason, it's a Jace special, is such a big thing, because guess what? On red side, he gets counterpicked, so that's pretty scary.
Yeah. So, game 2 could be even more terrifying here for Kongdoo Monster, but for now, they're just trying to make the best of this. Push coming through, BDD bringing up the bottom lane. Maybe looking for the full court press, as we already have Khan up top, just continually crashing that wave into the inhib turret, trying to get some damage in. Taunt barely misses there onto Edge, and had that hit, he almost certainly would have disappeared.
Game like this also shows us that even when Raze gets a champion with initiation, you need the team set up to actually defend him, actually let him get through his jungle. Sadly, Gragas has been able to do nothing in this game with his multiple engage options. They're watching as their inhibitor turrets are trained down to about 20% HP in mid lane. Rengar already had some fun in the top lane. I hear a Rengar ultimate, so we'll see if they're going to start forcing. They could try a dive. There's a lot of tools to turn it around, so that seems risky.
Hovering right now in between the bot and mid turrets. Goes ahead, jumps in onto the turret. A Secret looks for an engage. Only just gets the one hit there onto Gorilla, so the Pulverize not going to be followed up by anybody on Kongdoo Monster.
I mean, Prey predicted the flash by Arcane shifting back. That was some next level stuff. Faker-esque with his seeing the play a few seconds before it happened. Now flash down on Secret again. Soul's flash has been down a while. There's no way for them to push forward. The safe minions for Kongdoo Monster to pick up are the ones that crash onto their inhibitor. The safe monsters, there aren't any.
Yep.
Goes against their name, but Kongdoo Monster, there's just no access to any of the jungle creeps here. How effectively Kingzone have been able to strangle them out.
The monster's in hibernation.
Can't afford to hibernate too long against a team as fierce as Kingzone DragonX. It's been such a total victory, and so weird to see 3-0 in kills and 14,000 plus gold. That is a macro victory, and we know this team can get dirty and start brawling.
Oh yeah.
But, the Riven game and all the other
clearly we had a pentakill just the last time out, so.
I don't think there's ever been a VOD review where if they do lose in a perfect game, there's actually going to be, there's not a lot of criticism there. It's going to be just, look at how good these guys are able to do this. Can we get our champion pools to a position where we can emulate this rather than the things they could address? This game was Taken away so early. Second Baron spawned already.
They're going to get started up here. Edge getting hit up, gets popped up by the Glacial Fissure as they try to push forward. Going to build up the concussive blows there onto Raze. Can't quite get the stun, but in the meantime, Khan is just running away with the bottom lane. We'll finish off that turret, so first inhibitor going to be exposed.
Raze going to back, got chunked out somewhere during all of that. Gorillas has to engage because they're pretty low on engage, but Prey might do it all himself.
Yeah, jumps forward there, gets a bit of damage in on the Soul off the back of that Fate's Call.
Engage not something they do well unless Rengar commits himself. The positioning for the hero's entrance, they turn back onto Baron. Troll ward down on it. And that's going to lead back in. Second Baron in the game, going to be cleanly taken by Kongdoo.
Yep, and Prey still going aggressive. He wants the red buff for good measure. Now Soul taking a huge hit from Khan.
Khan is definitely the most likely to ruin this perfect game, by the way. Every time he hits an EQ, you know that he's pressing Q, then thinking better of it. He's like, I'm going to go, and maybe not.
I'm about to transform.
Khan definitely couldn't be Superman, because he'd never be able to hold his secret identity in. He would expose himself at every moment, but oh, wait, I shouldn't have done that.
It's me, Clark Kent. Oh.
Shoot. Once a carry, always a carry. Oh, Kingzone. Like the draft from them, the Rengar, a fun, different pick here. Not something that Peanut hasn't played this season, but or played in the past, but something that's working for them a lot.
Oh, the Banner of Command.
Yep. I mean, you're pretty free here to pursue a lot of different options. Secret has the right scoring, but so far the Engagers have let the team down a little bit.
Well, here we go. Call of the Forge God coming through. Does get the pop-up. He's going to flash. And makes it to the other side of that explosive cast. Khan not giving up the perfect game yet, as he just keeps going back up towards this top lane where Roach is desperately trying to kill that Banner of Command minion. But you can see, it's quite the struggle here for him as Khan goes into hammer stance. Gets the smack away, and in the meantime, we'll see the inhibitors start to fall. Mid and bot both going down. Gorilla and Prey pushing forward, shoving Kongdoo Monster away from the final remaining inhibitor.
30 minutes in, still perfect game pace. Already have 2 inhibitors, so no need to go too aggressive trying to end the game now. Fate's Call.
Going low, Peanut jumping into the back, gets a ton of damage in onto Edge, forces out the flash, and BDD finds a Killian onto Raze at the same time. Secret doing his damage to try to control Prey, but he just can't do it. Running around like a chicken with his head cut off in the back lines. Can't get any CC out, and the rest of Kingzone is just pushing forward, shoving Kongdoo straight back into the fountain. As well, I mean, they would love to get into the fountain, but there we go. Big Shurima shuffle, and they'll finally get a kill on the board. 2 of them to avoid the perfect game at the end. Secret gets a massive pulverize as Soul tries to get some spears in. But there's just not a whole lot he can do. Could nearly get the kill there on the Peanut, but they're going to go ahead and try to turn this one around as Soul just sprints his way back into the fountain. Get a couple spears there on to Prey, but there's just nothing he can do. Final Nexus turret will fall. The Nexus going to follow soon here as Prey looks for that final shot. They will be able to get it. They get the ace in the end. No perfect game for Kingzone, but pretty damn close.
Yeah, an imperfectly perfect game from Kingzone DragonX, playing to their draft, showing their strength, flexing but not being disrespectful until the very last against Kongdoo Monster, who will look back at this game and wonder how they never had control. The Gragas jungle very finally just destroyed by a team effort from Kingzone. The team efforts, the plans they have where they see a pick, and as a team they go, how do we take them down from level 1 wards, forcing them in the blue side start. They traded vision, but even when the enemy trades vision, if your game plan naturally is favored by pushing lanes and lane matchups, it's going to be cleaner to execute. Raze tried to give up the minimum, but away from his Jarvan, away from the flexible picks he's tried to make earlier in the season work, unable to do much. So Stoneface is here from Kongdoo Monster. They know they've been beaten by a better team in Game 1. Let's see if they can have a better draft plan in Game 2, at least a clearer one that doesn't play into the strengths of Kingzone. If you play early game against Kingzone or KT Rolster, then if you just avoid the early game, you let them play their early game comps, this is the reality.
Yep. Well, Kingzone giving Mad Life probably one of the best games that he could possibly have as his debut cast, so he can just talk about nothing but macro.
No need to shout on that one either.
Doesn't have to yell about the insane amount of action, because it was just clean gameplay there from Kingzone up until the very last seconds. So wonderfully done by them. Kongdoo Monster, I mean, we were expecting this to be a tough match for them, but it was a little bit tougher than they would have liked, so we'll see what they can do to try to turn things around in game number 2. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll see if they can equal the score or if it's just going to be another King Zone 2-0.